Hey, it's Jordan, the 1031 doctor, and today we're going to cruise LoopNet together, see what we can find. And I've said this before, I've been on LoopNet since it was first created. I think I was one of the first members, and it was really something when it came out. I couldn't believe it. We used to do this on a different way. We used microfiche, and we had packages, and we would just scour the universe any way we could. And it wasn't very easy. We didn't even have cell phones, and we really didn't even have fax machines. We had one fax machine down the street that a friend of mine had, and it was really archaic how we were doing deals. My first deal was an El Pollo Loco on Crenshaw Boulevard in 1989. That was the first actual triple net deal I did. I was doing other things. I was starting to lease shopping centers, strip malls. Anyways, let's check this out. Jordan, the 1031 doctor's been buying, building, selling, leasing triple net investments across the United States since 1986. Um, Not so much triple net in the mid 80s, but it started in basically 89. Let's see what we got here. I love Monterey. That's too small of a deal. And Dunkin' Donuts in Wichita, Kansas. Let's take a look at that. Wichita is a great little town. Not sure what this deal is here. 900 a foot. This is a new building. One sec. This is the brand new. This is a brand new prototype. Six cap, strong trade area. Some very rich people live in Wichita. They've got 8 years remaining on a personal guarantee. So that tells us it's not a corporate store. 5.4 increases in October 2029. That's not good right there. And a 3.4 increase in option one. That's terrible. Let's not look at this deal. That one's gone. Let's keep going. We'll find a good one. Richmond, Virginia. Sheets. I don't like those big price point deals on gas stations. Gas stations aren't going anywhere. Not in our lifetimes, or depends how old you are. I don't think. I think we'll be using gasoline in cars for the next 30 years. There's God knows there's enough of it around. Dollar General. I always stay away from those dollar stores. Good tenant, but they really, to relet them, it's very difficult. Mavis Tires is good, but Pawleys Island, South Carolina, too small of a market. Burry Nissan, that's automotive. Arby, Springfield, Illinois. That's not bad. Springfield's an okay place. 6.25 cap. I like Arby's food. It's okay. Let's keep looking though. There's one of those Dollar Generals. Yeah, Chick-fil-A, Monroe, Michigan. Too low of a cap rate. Dutch Brothers, too low of a cap rate. Denny's, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, I think I know this deal, and this is a franchisee deal. I think it's well, let's take a look at this. Albuquerque is kind of a iffy place to invest. There's not a lot of capital appreciation, just a cash flow town. And remaining franchise personal guarantee. Yeah, this is the one. University of New Mexico International Airport. Strong demographics. Same agents. Patrick Luther. 6.6 cap rate. Let's take a look real quick at this OM. Oh, they want us to sign something. Forget it. Let's keep looking. I like Denny's. Denny's is a good operation. Very profitable stores when they are in the right location. Breakfast is always more profitable than any other meal of the day. Here's a grocery outlet. Alturas, California. I like Grocery Outlet. They overbuilt. They're actually closing some. Pizza Hut, Greenville, South Carolina. Greenville's okay, but I've seen these Pizza Huts go under or actually just go dark and move around too much. Whataburger's great. 5 cap figures. Here's some more Whataburgers. Don't be afraid of Whataburgers, but you see these cap rates. It's a good product. Okay, here's AutoZone. Low cap rate, too low. More Whataburgers. Chipotle. Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Don't like the cap rate. Smalls, I have no idea what's going on with them. Murphy's is pretty good. 5 cap. It's kind of low. Pensacola, Florida is good. But the price point's pretty good. I would look at that. And whenever you look at these gas stations, you want to make sure that it's not just a ground lease, that you own the tanks, pumps, and dispenser in the building, because then you can get bonus depreciation. 7-Eleven, Houston, Texas, 3.5. Now, 7-Eleven, they are going for the larger concepts now. They want to compete with Quick Trip and Maverick and what have you. That's their new thing. That's not bad. Houston, 3.5. Depending on the demographics, what part of Houston. Monroeville, Alabama, for an advanced auto parts. This is a very low price point. Let's take a quick look at this one. 128 a foot is what caught my eye. That's cheap. Typical building. Corporate guaranteed lease. AutoZone is huge. Kendall Carlson, broker. Since 1995, strong intrinsic value, price below replacement cost. Yes, it is. On almost an acre. And it's across from a Tractor Supply, which is really good. Demographics, 5-mile radius, 50,000 people. That's just too small. Average household income, 61,000. That's just too low. But that's who fixes their cars. But at 61,000, they can't even afford to fix their cars. They've got 5 years remaining. Traffic count, 6,000 cars per day. This is going to be just way too iffy for me. We'll say goodbye to that one. Let's keep going. Lazy Boy, great company, actually. Here's an AutoZone in Jackson, Mississippi. And I would look at this one because, and then we'll look at these Freddy's. I like Freddy's. And it's 6 cap. And it's also a small town, 9,000 and 5,000, just too low. But you got a Wendy's, McDonald's. Here's Murder Row right here. Not bad. Small price point. I mean, $73 a foot. You can't. I mean, you couldn't buy carpet for that anymore. Too bad the town's too small. It's not the hard corner either, and it's a big one. That's a big one. Let's keep going. Freddy's Burgers. My ex-wife was the head of real estate, and I actually met the owner, and his father was named Freddy, and he was a World War II B-17 pilot. Milford, Ohio, and this one's in Texas. Great, great, great steak burger. It's a good product, and their cap rates are pretty good. That's not bad. KFC. Now we stay away from Walgreens. We stay away from all the drugstores. Slim Chickens is good. Now you're probably wondering why I'm not at ICSC. It's Monday, and ICSC started today, and I guess the leasing mall will be Wednesday and Thursday. I don't go for the convention part, for the talks. I've been invited to speak a few times, but I've never really gotten into it. And it's a lot of work going to that convention. It's very expensive. I already have everybody's business card, but that's where a lot of deals are done. I'm in the middle of a Circle K deal, so I probably should go, but I've got someone else going for me this year. Wanted to stay home and take care of my dog. It's not feeling so good. Now, banks, you can look at banks depending on their deposits. And Chase is a huge company. Saginaw Mission is not so bad. Six cap is not bad, but that's a small, it's a drive-through, a double, triple drive-through. So it's specifically built for them. Very hard to convert that and to a fast food. Here's some more Chase. Here's another Chase deal in Troy, Ohio. Lazy Boy's a good company. That's not bad. CVS, no. Dutch Brothers, I'm not, the whole coffee thing, I think it's just all overbuilt, but it's definitely something to do when you have a small lot under 20,000 feet and you can't really put a drive through on it. There's your CVS, a lot of CVS. Chipotle, we've had a lot of videos on Chipotle. That cap rate is just, well, it's Dallas, but you still got to be at 5.25 on those. Your CVS, Chase, AutoZone, Panera. I'd rather have an IHOP than a Panera Bread. Dunkin, South Carolina, a really good area. This is not bad. And here's Popeyes and Rialto. Now, we're going to look at this one. Rialto, I mean, it was a real cow town. I mean, there was nothing there. I sold a deal on Riverside Drive, and there was nothing around it. It was just garbage. And Rialto now is so crowded. It's so packed. And all the fast food does really, really well. And this is next to a Farmer Brothers. Now, Farmer Brothers is really good. That's corporate. I don't think they franchise. They might now. I don't know. But in the old days, these guys were solid as can be. This is next to a public storage, doesn't do anything for you. It's not a hard corner. 24,000 cars a day. It's baseline. You want to be on Riverside Drive. Yeah. Cedar Avenue. Yeah, that's not where you want to be. But Popeyes, listen, it's a great area for it. It'll probably do all right. It's just not what we look for. We want hard corners. But Rialto's a great place. Little Rock, Arkansas. No, sometimes medical's good. Urgent cares, like urgent cares a lot. Pediatrics plus medical. Pediatrics plus medical. You're giving 7 caps. Little Rock, Conway, Arkansas, Cabot, Arkansas, Bryant, Arkansas. Looks like a corporate sale leaseback deal, or maybe not because they're different cap rates. Buffalo Wild Wings. That's not bad. Cedar Hill, Texas. This is not bad. Not bad at all. Let's take a look at this one. Not a lot of anchors around. Let's see what we got here. Not that you need an anchor for Buffalo. They have a good following. 6 years remaining. Out parcel to Super Targets. It must be behind it. Okay, that's good. 1.5 miles to Hillside Village. Nice area. 150,000 daytime population in 5 miles. That's good. Vincent Nip. I remember Vincent. Offered for sale. Absolute net. Not bad. 6.25 cap. It's not bad. I would look into that one. Put that one aside. Let's keep going. Now, people have asked me what it was like in the 90s with the triple net deals. And I got to tell you, it was much different. And in the 80s, too, we would see Sears and Kmart deals, and the rents would actually go down every year, not up. So they'd start at a high rate so that the developer could finance his project, and then the rent would go down every 5 years. You don't see that anymore. El Super Santa Ana. This is a really good deal, and a very big client of mine is already making an offer on that. Boone, North Carolina, Longhorn Steakhouse. Now, Boone, North Carolina, and Longhorn would probably go very well together, but they want a 5 cap. I don't see where you go with 5 cap deals. It's good, but unless you're like going to stick it out for 10 years, you want to have unless this has big increases. Let's take a look. So look, you got all kinds of beautiful mountains here. It's a smaller town. Michael's Food Line. Here's Murder Row. Here's the Lowe's. Here's your Longhorn and your Walmart. Here you go. Here's another picture of it. Interesting. 594 a foot. Corporate lease, Rare Hospitality International Inc. 629 locations. Out parcel to a Walmart Supercenter. Here's their, you always want to get the 3 mile. 3 mile demographics are more important than the 1 and 5 and 10. And it's a ground lease. Not bad. We'll look at that one a little later. It's just, when you get in these cap rate deals, and also you got to remember to make sure they don't have a first right of refusal that'll screw up your exchange. Heartland Dental. The dental offices never go anywhere. Fifth Third Bank, wouldn't touch it. Wawa ground lease, too expensive. Dairy Queen. We like Dairy Queen, not so sure about the company itself. I'd have to do a little more research these days. Starbucks Santa Ana. Santa Ana, people think it's Orange County and they think it's a great area, but some parts of Santa Ana are not great. We'll take a real quick look at this one. You got a Popeyes there. Attractive upside potential. Single tenant. Cap rate 5.25, 5.7 over term. Drive through retail asset, top performing store. Yeah, so you definitely want to be in a top performing Starbucks because they've closed a lot of them, but they're starting to turn it around. They've got 3 5-year options. This is not bad, but when you see it's Orange County, just don't think it's like the greatest part of the world. Some decent pictures. You're in a shopping center here. It's 2-story here. It looks 2-story. Santa Ana. There's some good parts and there's some bad parts. Okay, we'll put that one away. Pediatrics Plus, there you again. Valvoline, great company. Yakima, Washington, not bad. I would look at that one. And we've got Urgent Care, Anderson, South Carolina. I would look at Urgent Care at South Carolina. 6 cap. Bojangles, they did a real big push for new franchisees. Kissimmee, Florida. Florida's doing amazing. I typically shy away from blue states and invest in red states now. And I would advise you to do the same. Hy-Vee, Minnesota, not bad. Wendy's, Gastonia, North Carolina. I don't like Wendy's. I don't like the food. Lucky's in Hayward, California. Hollister, California. Lucky's used to be, there was a Lucky's down the street in my house in Culver City growing up. Crunch Fitness, Hesperia. Hesperia has come a long way. I mean, it used to be just a desert. There was nothing there. And I used to drive out to Apple Valley to shoot my guns back in the 80s. And it was just, I would play blues going over the Pear Blossom Highway and 5 o'clock in the morning. And I watched Apple Valley and Victorville just explode. Tried to do a few deals on, I think it was Bear Mountain Road or Bear Valley something road. Wawa's too big, too expensive. IHOP, Dade City, Florida. Let's look at that. I like IHOP a lot. 6 cap, $3.19 a foot. You got a McDonald's here, public storage. Looks pretty iffy out here. Let's take a better look at some pictures. It looks busy. Mid-block. You got an O'Reilly's here. 30,000 cars a day is not bad. So this is obviously going somewhere. And here's Murder Row. You got your Taco Bell. You got everything here. Chick-fil-A coming soon. You got a Ford dealership. Advanced Auto. Here we go. Yeah. It's not bad. Captain D's, O'Reilly's, like I said. Yeah. Taco Bell. It's not bad. We can look at this one. Placer AI location generates approximately 1.5 million in annual sales. So you would want to have a rent roughly half of that. You'd want to have here it is 6.8 sales. So that's okay. I mean, I've seen them in the fives where you really want to be. 6.8 is good. That's healthy. Below market rent. It's not bad. It's a primary retail corridor. It's a low price point. $319 a foot. I mean, you could build it for that. It's not below replacement cost. Let's see what their OM says. It's not bad. Dade City. Sunshine Restaurant merger, sub LLC. You got to figure out what that is. 4.4 years remaining. 4 or 5 year options. So you got a really low price point, but you only got 4.5 years going into options, and your options are not so good. So that's 5% every 5 years. That's 1% a year. I think that's about right. I don't know if that's too good. No responsibility to the landlords. Oh, renewal notice 90 days. No right of first refusal, so that's good. Yeah, you're out there in the sticks. And they're doing some building. I mean, Florida is booming. It's a red state. You definitely want to be investing in red states. They built this Hampton Inn for a reason. That's for sure. Oh, we'll keep looking. Anyways, if you have any questions, shoot me an email and I'm happy to answer them or preview a property you're looking at. We basically do a 24-hour analysis for any project you have, any property you're looking for in the United States for $299. And we employed Placer.ai and a few other ways to arrive at valuation. And we do a little more in-depth investigation. We'll contact the planning department, find out what's going on in the master plan. I do that with all the properties. Here's 1.9 million Long Beach, California, 1,000 a foot. That's typical. It doesn't look like a drive-through either, but second generation restaurant does really well in LA. Rallies, North Las Vegas, expensive. That's an expensive deal. And North Las Vegas isn't so terrific. Commercial kitchen. Here's a Burger King, Conyers, Georgia. That's probably pretty good. You probably want to look at that one. Scooters, no. I saw them doing their first deals in Kansas City. Orange, Texas gas station, Valero, no. North Las Vegas, Conoco, no. Those Bojangles, I'd look now. Now, Black Bear Diner in North Las Vegas. Black Bear Diner is a great. I mean, the food's amazing. Absolutely amazing food. Not a bad cap rate, but $7.5 million. That's a lot. But these days, the money doesn't get you as far as it used to. That is for sure. Here's your Whataburger. There's an Applebee's, Wichita Falls, Texas. A little too small of a market. Office Depot, I would look at that. Beaumont, Texas. That's not bad. That is not bad. Let's take a quick look at that one. And I can tell by the pictures if I'm interested, believe it or not. And I'm not. You don't own the corner. It's a cutout. Keep going. Walk-ons, no. Sun Auto, I would look at that, but it's a high price point, over 1,000 a foot. That's a lot. Let's keep going. And here's those Chase Banks again. That's one thing about Crexy. They reshuffle the deck. We're looking at the same listings we saw before. Let's move over to 5. Anyways, regarding 1031 exchanges, it's really tricky because you make an offer on something and you only have 45 days and you're hoping you get the deal, but you don't know, especially if there's a right of first refusal. And you have to keep writing offers. You need backups. So I typically do two backups for every deal that I'm looking at. So if I have a $3 million exchange and this Burger King in Conyers is what I would really like, I'll make an offer at a 7 cap, and but then I'll keep writing offers. I'll find another two properties that I'm very as much interested or even more interested, and but you can't chase a tail. So you really have to weigh these things. But you want to have two backup deals for every deal you're looking at. If you're looking at three deals, you want to have nine, and you'll write active offers on that, and you've got to juggle them. Here's more Bojangles. Here's the Black Bear Diner. So we're coming back to where we started here. Let's go to 6. Sun Auto, we saw that. Dash In, no. Durham is good, but where there's nothing there. Here's a CVS again. Here's a Walgreens, no. KeyBank, no. 7-Eleven, no. Although it's a big one. That's the new concept they're doing. Applebee's, Walgreens. I remember I sold 18 Applebee's to one guy, and he had a little extra left over, and I found a gas station in a small town in Georgia. It was a Flying J, and he had his own jet, and he wanted to fly in with his jet, and the airport that was closest to it, the runway wasn't large enough. So he actually paid $50,000 to extend the runway just so he could land to see a property. And that's the kind of guy. His name was Jeff. This crazy guy. Very interesting guy. I think he ran for Congress once. But here's a bunch of Freddy's, Marshall, Texas. I would look at that. And let's see. Here's a single tenant corporate Jack in the Box at Hillsboro, Oregon. I would look at this. This is a newer concept, but a 4.6 cap, that is pushing it. But let's take a real quick look at it. $900 a foot, good looking property. Strong demographics. Average household income $126,000 in a 2-mile. That's really, really good income. And 40,000 cars per day, 241 pad to a grocery anchored. This is as good as it gets. 5 years remaining on a corporate lease, 2 remaining options, which are both at fair market value. Okay, so here's the deal. This is a good deal. 4.6 cap rate. You're going to have to wait out 15 years or 5 years. And then there's 2 options at fair market value. That is very rare. And that is what you want to find. So here you go. Here's a good deal on LoopNet. And there's no OM on this one. But I would call Justin Madelson and ask for an offering memorandum, because you've got 5 years to wait out until you get to 2 options that are at fair market value. And this is a very strong location. And I don't think they're going to want to leave there. We don't have much information on this other than a couple of pictures. But there you go. Here's one that you would have overlooked just because it was a low cap rate. But indeed, it's not a low cap rate if you consider if you wait 5 years, you're going to be able to have them over a barrel on some higher rent. And the rent is, I don't know how much the rent is. We have to find out if it is market. But I'm sure, no, they didn't say anything about what the rent is. We got to find out the rent. If the rent is over market, then you could have a problem. Anyways, it's Jordan, the 1031 Doctor. It's been great hanging out with you today, cruising LoopNet. And please like, subscribe, and share. And if you're in a 1031 exchange and you need some help, reach out to me, Jordan, at the 1031doctor.com. And I hope you have a great day.